All right, so let's talk about a billion-dollar question that is just haunting Houston, Texas. What do you do with this giant piece of the past that was once supposed to be the future? We're looking at a structure in Houston that was the very symbol of the city's ambition. It was this grand vision of what's to come. But today? Well, today, its fate is just a massive and very, very expensive problem.
That's not just some random complaint. Nope. That's from a former county judge, the guy whose actual job it was to solve this thing. His words really capture the decades of frustration swirling around one of America's most iconic buildings, the Houston Astrodome. So, to really get why this thing is in such a deadlock today, we've got to go back in time. We need to appreciate just how monumental the Astrodome was when it was in its prime. I mean, when it opened its doors back in 1965, it wasn't just another building. It was a statement. It was this bold, space-age vision of the future, which was just perfect for a city right at the heart of America's race to the moon. For decades, the Astrodome was America's living room. It hosted these huge moments of national pride, with astronauts on the field. It was the backdrop for massive cultural shifts, like the Battle of the Sexes. And, of course, pure spectacle with George Streit's final concert. But maybe its most important role came in 2005, when it became this massive shelter for thousands during Hurricane Katrina. It proved it was more than an arena. It was a true civic anchor. The scale of this place is just staggering. The roof soars 200 feet high and covers a 9-acre footprint. I mean, think about that for a second. 9 acres of column-free, air-conditioned space in a city famous for its intense heat and rain is a total engineering marvel. And even now, totally empty and silent, it still has this power to just impress you. Historians like Mike Acosta, who grew up going to games there, they say walking inside for the first time still makes you just go, wow. It's more than just a building. It's like a giant sculpture. So how did this eighth wonder of the world fall so far, so fast? How did it become what one Houston columnist, and get this, the guy literally has a tattoo of the building, now calls a monument to government inactivity and apathy? Well, the decline wasn't one big event. It was this slow, creeping obsolescence. First, the pro sports teams, they left for newer, shinier stadiums. Then the dome was just shuttered. Its basic systems were left to fail, and those famous rainbow seats, they were auctioned off to fans to put in their living rooms. What's left is just a vast, decaying shell. And the problem now is this repeating cycle of political paralysis. It always starts with a new plan. Some are pretty imaginative, others not so much. Then the cost becomes a huge roadblock. Back in 2013, voters narrowly said no to a $217 million bond. You've also got powerful neighbors, like the NFL's Texans and the rodeo, who'd rather see money go to their active facilities. And finally, even when a plan is approved, a change in leadership often means it gets scrapped. It's just a perfect political storm. All that political whiplash has left the public, understandably confused. As the head of the Astrodome Conservancy points out, a lot of people think they already voted to tear it down. But in reality, that failed vote was actually to save it. And that's a crucial detail that's been lost in all these years of inaction. Which brings us to the billion-dollar question that's sitting on the county officials' desks right now. After all these decades of indecision, what is the final answer for the Astrodome? Today, there are basically two paths forward. Path 1, a super ambitious $1 billion renovation to create a whole new multi-use destination. The big problem? Officials are pretty skeptical it can happen without a ton of private funding. Then there's Path 2, demolition. The county is now actively studying this option, arguing that, hey, they've got more pressing needs. And this gets right to the heart of the political reality. When county officials are weighing their priorities, they're staring down these really urgent needs. Public safety, housing, flood control. So from their perspective, spending hundreds of millions, maybe even $1 billion, on a disused stadium, well, it's a really tough sell when it's stacked against these life and death issues. And listen to this. Even the columnist, the one with the Astrodome tattoo, has pretty much reached his breaking point. His feeling reflects this new kind of fatigue in the city. The debate isn't just about saving a landmark anymore. For a lot of people, even its most passionate defenders, It's now just about getting a resolution, any resolution.
So ultimately, the Astrodome's fate is about way more than just one building in Houston. It really forces us to ask a fundamental question that cities all across the country are facing. What parts of our past are we actually willing to pay to carry into the future? And which ones do we just have to let go?